أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم. Since some weeks we were discussing human evolution, we had started with a number of theories, including those which which deny Darwin's theory, and further developments on Darwin's theory without explaining the sequence, without explaining any sequence of human development, without Darwin's theory and the related theories. They just jump at one point that somehow Adam alayhi salam was created by the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is the unlimited power. Allah ala kulli shayin qadir. Yes, Adam, but they don't differentiate between Adam and Insan. So anyway, we had discussed human evolution right from the Big Bang. Now it's an endless subject, and there are endless theories, and there are endless controversies, and that will continue. Everybody has the right to hold his own view, but this is science, and I try to give the scientific perspective. Quran has eternal facts; they will remain there, always there. They are immutable, and scientific theories are just hypotheses. So now today we will inshallah try to summarize the hypotheses, the theories which are changing, still changing, that what the scientists believe for the creation of a human being, insan. The first is that the turabun was created, inorganic material was created, and when after inorganic material, water and minerals were created. We discussed these stages and how these were created. For example, from the subatomic matter, the atomic matter was created. Then the lighter elements like hydrogen, oxygen, they came together. Water was formed, minerals were formed, and then initially substances like ammonia, then methane, and when those subjects came together and carbon by the time emerged, then the thin organic material was created from inorganic to organic material. And these are substances which are usually they are related to this group, to this organic substances. And then the concentrated mixtures of amino acids, nucleosides, we have discussed that also. Amino acids on heating to near dryness, kal fakhar. On heating to near dryness, form protein-like compounds. Similarly, products like nucleic acids could be obtained, and the Quran tells us, and verily, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created man from old, physically altered mud, Samaim Masnoon, which after a lapse of time, over a time, reached the stage of near dryness, Kal Fakhar, Salsalin Kal Fakhar. He, Allah, created man from mud nearly as dry as pottery, Sim Kal Fakhar, the stage of near dryness. And this is the translator. I've given the names of the translators. After making mud as dry as pottery, further developments may be described as pre-biological stages of chemical evolution. Chemistry has different branches: physical chemistry, analytical chemistry, biochemistry. Here we are talking about basically the biochemistry. Pre-biological stages of chemical evolution, that is, actual formation of first living units of cells that is basic living units like bacteria. But before that, the basic living unit or the material for the basic living living material with units like DNA, the living code, not the incomplete DNA, but a code. And when those codes were placed together, then the living materials were created. Basic living units from these compounds, these compounds were adsorption, not absorption, not AB, but AD. Adsorption or stickiness is a surface phenomenon in physical chemistry. It is a physical phenomenon. Thin lazivin. In thin lazivin, it is not absorbed in the sponge like a sponge. It remains on the surface as adsorbent. Molecules of sugars, fats, proteins got adsorbed. Last time we had discussed that how these sugars and phosphates were created. They were adsorbed to various surfaces, and certain other acid products, they were also, created, molecules were created, and they were also adsorbable. They were, they had the quality of adsorption. It is likely that these simple organic compounds, note the word likely, these are hypotheses, theories. These compounds, like sugars, fatty acids, amino acids, and nucleotides, were adsorbed into clay, the clay which was formed, kalfakha. They were adsorbed into the clay where micromolecules of proteins and nucleic acids were synthesized. Why they use this sentence? Why they say this? That those initial building blocks of life were adsorbed like tin and lazulin into the pottery, the dry material which was created, because the meteorites are the meteoric material which has been received on the earth from the space and from other planets or outside the solar system, from outside the solar system. They have adsorbed building blocks of life in those materials which are other materials from the skies, from the space. Now, this is a reference from the book. There are many theories about formation of cells and DNA from basic biochemical material, but it is not necessary that these are hypothetical descriptions correspond in detail to actual course of events of creation of life, and it's also not necessary that they are in the same order or sequence or exactly in the same manner as described in Quran. So here we find that there are three variations. Quran is prescribing, is telling us the immutable facts. And then again within science, there are differences in the actual details. So they are not yet reconciled even by the scientists. So these are theories. But these theories are very important and they have helped the human beings. While working on those theories, human beings have discovered many other things which have become useful to life. Starting with the Darwin's theory, if they had not worked on that theory, if they had not worked on the evolution, they would have not reached the DNA. They would not have reached the human genome, and they have not reached the genetic engineering. So these theories, even if they ultimately prove to be lacking in many details, and they, in substance, even they lack, but the progress is very beneficial for the support of human needs, the developing needs on the timeline of history on the earth. They may be plausible and within scientific domain of physics, chemistry, and biology, which could be discovered or described so far. Why so far? Because we don't know what new inventions, not new theories, will emerge to deny even these discoveries, and they will bring new discoveries and new progress may be made in DNA, in human genome, in the theories of evolution. So these are theories. From examination of above theories, in the light of some of verses of Holy Quran, it would be seen that the Holy Quran provides strikingly, surprisingly significant pointers. When we are correlating with Quran, we are not translating. I have been repeating it. It's not a translation of Quran. Any scientific explanation or theory is not the translation of Quran. It is provides just a pointers to the different stages leading to origin of life. And now this sequence, which I am giving here, is also just an attempt. It is an attempt to organize the pointers which we have seen in the Quran, which correlate to different stages or different phenomena or even different terminology, which we find in the course of our study of human evolution. From turabun, inorganic material, then from water mixed with earth, mixed with inorganic material, when water mixed with the inorganic material, when our water mixed with the turabun, it became teen. The basis of the organic material was created. Then from the wet earth, from sticky and soft burnt clay, these are teen lazimin, clay, kalfakhar, not as whole raw lump, but from extracts, sulalatam mintin, as sulalatam mintin, extracts of clay, is active ingredients. Those ingredients of the teen, which were sulalatan, which were extracts and which were active, now we call it bioactive material, which were they were active biologically, because amino acid, for example, A or T or C or G, they are active biologically. When they come together, when they form a chain, if they are in a sequence, they create a code of life, and that is how the life starts working. Intelligence in that code, the intelligence in the sequence, in the arrangement, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has provided to them. Clay not as whole, raw lump, but from extracts of clay, which became precursors or building blocks of life. From old mud, sometime masnoon, sometime from that stage of the mud, from old mud subjected to physical, chemical changes, and then from mud which reached near dryness, kalfakhar. Above was revealed in 7th century. These things which we are now correlating, compare with the revelations which Quran brought. Quran brought revelations in 7th century, and people did not have any idea of these pointers or these stages or anything about them. Even Darwin did not know. Darwin just provided a direction that there could be a sequence in the arrangement of the animals, and we can perhaps find more clues how it was originated. But people did not know all this sequence, all these things. At that time, when the world did not know, in the 7th century, 610 AD, these things were revealed, started revealing in the Quran. When people did not know, nobody on the earth knew this sequence or these things. Always above was revealed in the 7th century when such scientific knowledge or data was not otherwise available. Torah and Injil, they had already lost the originality. They had no original word. It was already lost. And whatever little was available, that was also edited. It was not available in the original word. Previous centuries were noted. I'm repeating, previous centuries were noted for their deliberate obscurity, obscurity, obscure, they were obscure, creation and reproduction. They did not understand. Although Torah starts with Genesis, but it does not describe in the scientific way. It starts like a story of tribes or generations. And many people say that religion, without stating such things, without any religion, without explaining these things, without starting with this, is the cause of all this obscurity, and all this ignorance was created by religion, because they were reading the things which were incomplete, which were edited, which were not available in original form. So people blame, and they rightly blame. They blamed during the entire Renaissance, period of Renaissance, and it remained a bone of contention. There were fights, there were murders. The scientists were killed who challenged these statements from those books which were not based on scientific grounds, and they say the religion is responsible for all this chaos. They blame the religion, but although the books were not available in the original form, 14 centuries ago, questions on human reproduction were brought to man's attention. In the Quran, these were brought to attention. Consider these things. Examine these things. It was necessary to use simple language suited to the level of comprehension of those who listen to the preaching. Maurice Bucaille says this, that Quran was presented in the simplest non-technical terms, which in the root of that word, triliteral root, contain the scientific philosophy. They contain all other related philosophies in that root. If we want to explore further, if we want to examine the word, but on the surface of it, as the word has been used in Quran, it is simple. It has been made easy. Yasarna al-Quran. Man is created from small poured out spermagenital. This is now a new stage of nutfa. There was one stage which we discussed, which was cosmic. Then it was chemical, physical chemistry, biochemistry, biotic life. Now the stage has come where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says for insan that it has been created from nutfa. And nutfa is not also one liquid. It's a mixture of, or you can say it is admixture. It is admixture of four substances. Four substances. Man is created from a small poured out spermagenital. This sense is given in one word there in the Quran. Man was fashioned from a liquid poured out. This is also a portion of the ayat. These are different parts of different ayat which I have brought here, which from Maurice Bucaille. Man was created from small poured out spermagenital. from a liquid poured out. It issued as a result of the conjunction of the sexual areas of the man and the sexual areas of the woman. Now, this is the ayat. This is by Dr. Morris Bucay. Now, this is the ayat and its translation from Darul Shura. Man is created from a drop emitted. If you have seen the process of different processes of osmosis, different process in which you feel the liquid is oozing out like small droplets from the tissues, it comes out. Man is created from a drop emitted proceeding from between the backbone and the ribs. This is the translation by Yusuf Ali. Then the other by Shura is, the man is created from ejected fluid that issued from between the loins and the ribs. The man has been created out of a seminal fluid, which is a mixture issuing from between the loins of man and the pelvic arch of woman. These are interpretations even by the Muslim scholars who have translated Quran. I have given 3 translations, but they have interpretations leading in the same direction. These are pointers. The plural noun taraib. The taraib is rendered by one as pelvic arch, as has also the meaning of ribs and arch of bones, according to most of the authorities who have the specialization, or they were specialized in the embryology of rare Quranic expressions. This term relates especially to female anatomy. Now, who has explained this? Very famous dictionary, Taj al-Urus, and the translation is given by Asad. So there are modern translators also. Some of the modern translators and some of the translators who are science, to some extent, who are scientists and who have studied science, they have started using the scientific, they have started understanding, making an effort to understand the scientific statements. Now they are moving away from the Sufi, the mystic interpretations where man was not able to understand them in the scientific perspective. Morris Bucay explains, the sexual area of man is indicated in the text of the Quran by the word sulb. Singular is sulb. The sexual area of the woman are designated in the Quran by the word taraib. The Bible and the Quran and science, this is another book by Wadud. From above interpretations, it appears that depending upon level of information and data available at any time, in a given time, in a time frame, the terminology used by the Quran, for example, pertaining to physiology, anatomy, general biology, etc., is becoming clearer with the advancement of science. If we want to understand the phenomena, then naturally we'll have to understand the science also. Without understanding science, we have mostly in the mainstream been trying to translate Quran in the same mystic way, from translation and translation from translation. Above discussion on chemical and biological evolution and also theory of upgradation of early man to Adam. There are many ayat in Quran when discussed together. I have been mentioning only a couple of them because it has not been taken seriously. And people start, instead of going into those things to understand, they start, agitating sometimes, or they just start refuting while the discussion is going on, Googling and things like that. So we do not reach the bottom. You reject it, but kindly see what the science is and then reject yourself on the scientific grounds in sequence. No, there is no sequence. There's no this inorganic, organic, and other progressions. It is summarized for recapitulation and re-examination, and we are coming towards the end. I'll close this. Now, what is this sequence? In the Quranic explanations, this ayat from water, every living thing has been created. From teen, clay, ayat. There are many ayat, but I've just placed a few in sequence. After discussing those things, I'm making another effort, place them in sequence. From the clay like potter, from plasticinic sticking clay, तीन lazim, and from the quintessence of clay, very small droplet emitting mayan, mahin, amshajan. After physical and chemical evolution, the Quran speaks of biological and even specific subject like embryology. We will not discuss embryology because we have already taken a lot of time in evolution. Embryology is a different subject. It pertains to the area of development, after development, and that can be explained by two words, other things taking place, like from the word nazal and from the word jal. These two words explain many other aspects of evolution on this planet, like domestication, like further developments which have taken place through embryology. From sperm, nutfa, ayat has been given here. Fertilization takes place with only a very small quantity. There are millions of sperma in the sperma genital. There are millions of sperms, and out of that, only one goes to fertilize the ovum. One succeeds, rather, one competes, rather, to fertilize the ovum. Very small quantity. With a very small quantity, the Quran repeats this, explaining in different ways, in different ayat. It is strikingly important to note that the Quran refers to the creation of man from nutfa, which is usually translated as sperm. Quran refers to nutfa, that man has been created from nutfa, and separate mention of ovum is not made. Separate mention of ovum is not made. Nutfa. Therefore, it will be considered that the genetic material which is used in fertilization, sperm and ovum, they both take part in fertilization. Is the meaning of nutfa, does the meaning of nutfa at the root level cover both? That is why I say it is necessary to go into the root also, the philosophy which is given there. Now, this is embryonic development. There are many phenomena of nature which are mentioned in Nazal and in Jal, so that we are not discussing here. With this, I think I conclude here so far as evolution is concerned. And next time, Dr. Mamdu Salama has directed that we may start discussing taqwa. But again, I may mention here, I will discuss taqwa with reference to Quran, from Quran, but the explanations will be neurological, psychological, physiological, scientific, that what is taqwa in these terms. In terms of science, what is taqwa? I'll discuss that with reference to science, but relating to Quran, a humble effort. You may, in the meantime or after that, conduct your own study, own research. You can reject it, This is just an attempt, as other people have made an effort to correlate certain statements in the Quran with the science, or understand something from science and then trying to correlate in the light of Quran. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت، وعافنا فيمن عافيت، وتولنا فيمن توليت، وبارك اللهم لنا فيما أعطيت، وقنا واصرف عنا شر ما قضيت. اللهم ادخلنا برحمتك في عبادك الصالحين. اللهم اخرجنا من ظلمات الجهل والوهم إلى نور العلم. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا، وانفعنا بما علمتنا، وزدنا علما. اللهم اجعلنا ممن يستمعون القول فيتبعون أحسنه. اللهم بفضلك ورحمتك على كلمة الحق والدين. اللهم انصر الإسلام وعز المسلمين يا أكرم الأكرمين. Oh Allah, spread your mercy upon us, shower us with your blessings, increase our knowledge, grant us forgiveness, and reward us with the company of the prophets in the Firdaus al-A'la. Oh Allah, purify our heart, strengthen our faith, increase our knowledge, and make us benefit from what you have taught us. Oh Allah, forgive our parents and all our friends and relatives who have passed away. Oh Allah, make their graves garden from heaven and grant them the Firdaus al-A'la. Oh Allah, we have many of our friends and relatives who are sick. We have our son Ma'raj, our daughter Aisha Wani, and many others. Oh Allah, grant all of them full and speedy recovery. Oh Allah, we know that there is no cure but yours. Oh Allah, grant them a cure that leaves no ailment or injury. Oh Allah, guide our children, protect them, and make them righteous. Oh Allah, we have many of our brethren in Palestine and other parts of the world who are facing barbaric enemies, unjust world, complacent Muslim nations. Oh Allah, grant them victory, heal their trauma, protect their helpless. Oh Allah, remove their suffering and grant them peace and prosperity. Oh Allah, we ask with every name you have elected for yourself, that none of us leave this gathering, but his pains have been relieved, his worries have been removed, his debts have been paid, his weaknesses have been concealed, his sins have been forgiven, and his needs have been fulfilled. سبحان الله وبحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. سبحان الله وبحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. سبحان الله وبحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على خير المرسلين. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.